Hello and welcome back to Stop and Go F1, or should I say Stop and Go F3, because it is that time again, the time we look at the Formula 3, this time for the Bahrain Grand Prix, a weekend I feel of two halves, one of the greatest sprint races I've ever seen, followed by a rather mundane feature race. We'll get into all that and more in just one moment. Before you though, remember to like and subscribe, and a huge shout out to the members: Dakota, the Joyous James, Ron Myers, Cinnamon Strudel, F, Michael Johnson, Edam on Sandwiches, and Mr. Eurovision 1986. To become a member, click the link in the description, either on the Patreon or on the YouTube. But let's get into this here. With, firstly, the sprint race, which started with Josh Dufek on pole, with Martinius Stenshorn alongside him, an all high-tech front row of the grid. But as we look to the second row of the grid, this is where something interesting is. And that something interesting is one Freddie Slater making his Formula 3 debut this weekend. He is the current reigning Italian Formula 4 champion, a series which was previously won by Gabriele Mini, Kimi Antonelli, Ollie Behrman, and even Lance Stroll. He's making his debut here this weekend, only 16 years old. He's in the AIX car, starting this race third, and he was absolutely superb. As the race begins, Joshua Dufek keeps the lead, but Slater, wheel-to-wheel with Stenshorn, immediately up into P2. Championship leader Rafael Câmara stalls on the grid and is now down back in 30th position for this sprint race. There is punctures all over the place. Sansable into Puvazak is one of the people who has a puncture, as is someone I'm going to get the name wrong of. Marin Angelis is how I've written it down. I'm sorry for my mispronunciation there. But towards the front of the race, on lap 3, Freddie Slater takes the lead. His first ever Formula 3 race, and he was leading after only 3 laps. Further back, Ugo Ogachukwu is out. This brings out the safety car on lap 4. Badoa has a puncture as well. There was contact between the two of them. Safety car ends on lap 7, and Josh Dufek continues to go a little bit backwards here as Solov gets past him for P2. We get a great little battle between Stenshorn and Tapoin for P4, and now the battle of the weekend thus far begins. It is Freddie Slater versus Nicholas Solov for the win. Solov dives down into turn 1, but goes too deep. Slater comes back, takes the position back. This on lap 9. It continues throughout the race. Meanwhile, Stenshorn around the outside of Dufek for P3. Tapoin passes Dufek for P4. That's both on lap 9. Dufek losing 2 places. Not going well for the pole man whatsoever. Dufek then goes too deep into into turn 1, and Giuzzi is able to get past him. Meanwhile, Solov passes Slater, but Slater takes it back. Then Solov passes Slater. Slater takes it back. Solov passes Slater. Slater takes it back. Incredible racing here in the sprint race in Formula 3. Solov now on the radio saying his tyres are just dead, and my god they were, not just for him but for a lot of our drivers at this point in the race. There was a point we're on board with Slater, and his front right tyre, it just looked like it was melting away, big chunks of rubber being thrown around everywhere at this point in the race. Tapoin now is on the back of Slater for P2, but he's on the back of Solov still for P1. We get a three-way battle for the lead going into the end of this race. We also go wheel to wheel further back between Stenshorn and Giuzzi for P4. Stenshorn is able to keep the place for there for now. Dufek is beached and Dominguez is also out. There was a hit between them. I think Dominguez had a slide into the side of Dufek, who's had a very bad day. This brings out the safety car. Safety car ends on lap 18 of 19, bringing us 2 laps to go in what had already been an incredible race. Solov went incredibly early, but Slater read it well, was on the back of him. Stenshorn attacks Tapoin but can't get past him, and then we get the almighty battle again. Slater versus Solov. For the lead. Fantastic attacking driving from Slater, fantastic defensive driving from Solov. Tapoin is there as well. He was in third. He goes for a dive bomb onto Slater into turn 1, but can't quite make it stick. As we cross the line, Nicholas Solov takes the win. Freddie Slater in P2. Topoen was third, Voisin fourth, Stenshorn fifth. Then it was Tramnitz in sixth, Jutsi seventh, Christian Ho in eighth, Alexander Wirtz in ninth, then Stromstead in 10th. But let's just talk about Freddie Slater for a minute. What an incredible, incredible debut. I cannot remember the last time I'd seen a driver for the first time and they grabbed me like he had this weekend with this sprint race performance. It was unbelievable how well he was driving. And you know what? It's not like he was just driving against other rookies. I think most of the guys, if not all the guys he was battling with, it was at least their second year of Formula 3. He turned up on his first race weekend and took the battle to them, and it wasn't like he was pushing them off track. He wasn't hitting them. He respected the rules of racing, gave them all the space he needed, and just ran that race really, really well. A shame we didn't win for him there, but nonetheless, as we came away from that race, I went online. As good as Solov was, and my God, he was very good, Freddie Slater was the man everyone was talking about because of how incredible he was. What's also incredible about him, he is not attached to any Formula 1 young driver program as of right now, which I imagine will change incredibly quickly. I imagine right now he might be the hottest free agent on the young driver market. So I would not be surprised if he got snatched up incredibly quickly by an F1 team who had seen his performance in the sprint race this weekend. Fantastic stuff all around. Great sprint race from Formula 3. Unfortunately, that did not really continue into the feature race. Rafael Câmara on pole for the second F3 feature race in a row. Callum Voisin alongside him. Voisin able to take the lead into turn 1. There is a tap on lap 2 between Wharton, Zagazzetta and Dominguez. Câmara takes the lead back on lap 3. And unfortunately, Freddie Slater has to retire the car. I don't even know what happened here. He must have got a tap or something. It wasn't a great start to the race for him. He did fall back a few places, then he just went further and further down that timesheet until he had to retire the car. So a weekend of two halves for Freddie Slater there, but the first half, immaculate. The second half, who knows what happens there. But, looking at Formula 3 this year, if you want a championship battle, as it looks right now, we're not getting one because Rafael Câmara is just running away with it. But if Freddie Slater can consistently be as good as he was in that sprint, I don't see why he can't be a championship contender because that was fantastic, fantastic stuff. And when you're talking about young drivers, I remember reading, I can't even remember who wrote the book now. There was a book on Max Verstappen that I read called Unstoppable. I will find the... he's a journalist. You know what it's like. Unstoppable book. Is that what it's called? Max Verstappen Unstoppable. That's the one. Mark Hughes, the journalist. There you go. He wrote a book about Max Verstappen called Unstoppable, and it kind of was the story of Max Verstappen's life up until the end of 2021. And in that book, he talks about how you should evaluate young drivers. And basically what he said in that book has always stuck with me, with when you're looking at young drivers, look at their peak. Don't look at their low points, because the low points can be ironed out. That peak might be their peak. And if you can work on it, that peak becomes more and more consistent. It's like they always say, it is easier to take a fast driver who crashes a lot than take a slow driver who doesn't crash. You can iron out the crashes, then you just have them fast. And what you have here with Freddie Slater, in just these two races alone, you have someone who's incredibly quick and then might have had an issue in the feature race. So, iron out that issue. That might have been a car issue, might not have even been a driver issue, and you've still got that incredible speed. So, I think he's one for the future, one to keep an eye on. There's a really weird virtual safety car at this point because we have a four-way battle for the lead. We're just coming on to the main straight into turn 1 with DRS. We get a virtual safety car. We're never told what the virtual safety car was for. Then as the four guys battling for the lead get out of turn 1, the virtual safety car ends. So it's just like, okay, we'll get rid of that little battle for one lap. Câmara takes the lead back on lap 5, and then from there, the race became incredibly dull. And I haven't got another note until lap 13, where Solov was up to P6, passing Stromstead. Then, the highlight of the race was a battle for P12. Firstly, between Noel Leon and Luca Badoa. Badoa going off track at this point, on the curves, through the gravel before coming back on. Then that turns into a 5-way battle for P12. Leon, Badoa, Inprapuvazak, Van Hoopen, Blitznicki, all battling for P12. Unbelievable stuff. Tim Tramnitz has a fantastic move, has to be said, around the outside of Charlie Wirtz into turn 4 for P4 on lap 17. Solov is up to P5, passing Wirtz. At the exact same time as that's happening, a little bit further down the road, Tim Tramnitz is up to 3rd, passing to Poen. We get a penalty for Ugo Ugachukwu for a track limits violation of 5 seconds. Then, as we cross the line, Rafa Câmara takes his 2nd feature race win in a row from his 2nd pole position in a row. Seemingly one hand on the championship already, 2 races in. Callum Voisin in 2nd, Tim Tramnitz 3rd, Topoin in 4th, Solov 5th, Stromstead 6th, Jutsi 7th, Boyer on his birthday in 8th, Delpino in 9th, and Christian Ho in 10th. Câmara, obviously championship leader, doing incredibly well. The other lads are going to have to pull their finger out if they want to have a fight in this championship, but it'll come to no surprise to anyone. My star of F3 this weekend is Freddie Slater, because he was fantastic. I know feature race didn't go the way it should have, but more than made up for it for what he did on his debut in that sprint race. He was absolutely incredible. There you go. That is Formula 3 for this weekend. We'll be back next time. But still today, we've got Formula 2 coming up in just a little bit, like 20 minutes or so as I'm recording this. And Formula 1 later on today. All that to come on the channel today. I will see you then. Until next time, have a good one. Goodbye.